sitting here in my car, just coming back from work. I'm not sure why I'm recording this, if I'm going to be posting this anywhere, or if I'm just going to keep it for myself as a journal entry. But it feels like something needs to come out. Just feeling so frustrated and where do I start? So when I was going into medical school, I on purpose chose to go into osteopathic school and not a regular allopathic school. Why did I do that? From what I read about DO schools, osteopathic schools, is they were more holistic, oriented, more open-minded, more accepting, using the whole body, the whole person approach versus just body, neck down approach. Well, had included the brain, but no mind. I was going into that medical school wanting to become a doctor, but wanting to become, I'm getting really emotional here because it's just, it's painful. I wanted to become a doctor that's different. I wanted to become someone who could heal a person from the inside out, because even then, when I was just starting out, I knew that there has to be a different approach to medicine than just looking at symptoms and separate problems and sending a person out here and there into different specialties when one doesn't know what the hell the other one is doing. Where you have one problem and a symptom and they send you here and you go here and they deal with this kind of symptom, but then you have a myriad of other symptoms and then they send you there and those people deal with those symptoms and nobody talks to each other and nobody considers that there has to be something that's involving your whole self. It's not just a matter of symptoms. And going into medical school, I already knew that. I knew that in the bottom of my heart. And I was so hopeful that I'm going to be different. I'm going to be a different kind of doctor. Because even in my own family, I had examples of my family members who were suffering from conditions and illnesses, and they would go from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor a million times, only to hear a million different answers. Nobody really knew what's going on. Nobody could put it all together. It was just a mess, and they weren't getting better. So I knew I did not want to be that kind of doctor. I knew I wanted to be different. And then I went into medical school and I studied my ass off, and like everybody else, it's not an easy place to be at, and you just go head first, you jump in and you do the work. So I did the work. It was not easy to say the least, but I did it because I had that vision in my head. I had that vision in mind that once I go through the schooling and I know all of that and I learn the body and anatomy, it will all come together. And I'm very thankful that I went to osteopathic school, because they did teach us a lot of more holistic, more open-minded things than I would definitely learn in allopathic school. But it was still lacking. I still didn't get what I was going there for. And I didn't really realize it fully until I graduated and went into residency. And when I went into the residency, which my residency, I'm blessed, I got a very good place where people were actually happy and smiling, and it was in Miami, Florida, so it was sunshine and palm trees and everything was beautiful, and it was much more positive than many other hospitals. So I'm grateful and thankful for that. But still, I realized that once even osteopathic physicians get out of the medical school and into that regular Western medical system, everything goes out the window. There's absolutely no room in current hospital system. Maybe there's some exceptions already, thank God, currently, but mostly there's no room for anything kind of out of the box. Everything is just so old school, just bodies, symptoms, lab reports, lab results, medications, prescriptions, dosages. Everyone is just so in that world that nobody even takes a moment to think and look around and see, is this logical? A place where people go to heal consists of keeping them cold, because every hospital, as you probably know if you've ever been to the hospital, is freezing. So if a person is cold, then the lights are on everywhere, there's sound everywhere, people keep coming in and out of your room all night long and all day long, so you can never get good rest and good sleep. So you're cold, you're sleep deprived. Then they feed you this horrible diet that includes jello and sugar and just absolutely horrendous foods. They pump you up with chemicals, which are medications that are supposed to make you feel better, and to a certain degree they do, but then they give you 20 other million side effects and symptoms other than what you were looking for. And this is just to begin. How is somebody... Oh, and the infections in the hospital system, the infections that are absolutely resistant to medication are horrible. So you go there with your immunocompromised. If you're sick, your immune system is low, your body's trying to fight something, some kind of illness, so your immune system is low already. Then you push your immune system down with cold air, with horrible food, with no movement, because they strap you to this bed and you can't get out even if you're able and can. Then they pump you up with all these chemicals. They don't let you sleep. You're supposed to get better. You're supposed to heal. Like, is it just me, or it sounds absolutely ridiculous? To me, being in the hospital and seeing all of this, and being a very heart-centered person where I'm an empath also, I can feel other people's emotions, and I really truly want to help. I want to help heal them and make them feel better. How is this possible with that kind of system? So that would be killing me. So when I was doing my residency, it was killing me from the inside out every day. And I, in my own way, when I had time with all the duties of residency, I tried to do what I can. I would go and I would visit the patients that were my patients after hours, and I would sit with them and talk to them and hold their hand and hug them, and that was just all I could do. And I couldn't take it anymore. By the end of residency, it was just eating me from the inside out, just seeing all of that. And even in the clinics, even in the, not in the hospital setting, in a just regular medical clinic, just this constant, like 10 minutes, 7 minutes, even 15 minutes with the patient, just come on, let's go, we have to go, see next one, why are you taking so long, what's going on, prescription here, prescription there, lab results, send them here, send them there, to this specialist, to that specialist. Just like a mill. It's a mill. And nobody sits and pays attention. What is really going on with the person? Do they really need that prescription? Or maybe they just need to talk to somebody. Maybe they have some kind of problem that's going on in their life and they have nobody to talk to. Or something is wrong with their relationships, or maybe they're lonely, or maybe they have a problem and they can't find a solution. There's so many other things that could be causing their symptoms, but nobody pays attention to that. And I would look at all of that and I would think to myself, is there something wrong with me? Like, why am I thinking about this? Why is everybody else just looking at this and it seems normal to them, and they could just go on with their happy life, or so-called happy life, at the end of the day, and go live their life and just get back to work the next day and feel okay about it. Why am I not feeling okay about it? Just all of that seems so wrong to me. And I was blessed once again to have a residency program that allowed me to the time, because they had resources and enough clinics and enough physicians, that I actually was able to spend quite a lot of time with some of my patients. And those cases, those people were a proof to me that what I was thinking and what I was feeling and what I was believing was true. I need a tissue. Because I remember I would sit, and when they were telling me what's wrong, and instead of cutting them off after 20 seconds and just giving them a prescription, I would actually sit there and listen and ask them more questions. Tell me more, and how's this coming out of your life? What's going on in your life? How are you taking care of yourself, and how's your relationship, and how's your work, and how do you really feel, and what's your level of happiness, and how's your relationship with kids? And I would ask them all these questions, and all of a sudden most of the people who I would really sit down and talk to like that would break down and cry, probably 95%. And then it was just like I would see this relief in their eyes. Like all of a sudden, like a mountain just fell off their shoulders. Like all of a sudden, they could express what's happening, and they could also see and understand, oh my goodness, this is actually coming from that. It's not coming from my body. My body's not really the problem. The problem is what's happening outside of my body, what's happening in my life, what's happening with my emotions, what's happening in my mind, with my thoughts and my beliefs and my mindset and my psychology. And then we would have amazing breakthroughs, and they would feel better. And when I got lucky to have a follow-up with them, I pretty much every single time they would get better. One of the examples that I remember so vividly is there was one man that was my patient who kept going from one place to another place to another place to another place, and he had problems with his stomach, and he kept having pains and indigestion and all that stuff. And we talked, and we figured out the solution. I actually sat there and listened and talked him through it, and few weeks later, he felt better, and he actually wrote me a thank you note and sent me flowers and said something along the lines of, thank you for helping me figure this out. And people like that and cases like that just lit me up. I just felt so alive. This is my purpose. This is what I'm here for. I'm not here to just push pills and write prescriptions and send and listen to people for 5 seconds and then just send them on their merry way to see some specialists, some other specialist who's never going to think about the whole picture.